go. All right, it's my pleasure to call to order the special meeting of the Board of Regents of Amarillo College tonight at 4 p.m., August 11th, 2026. I would like to say welcome to everyone, including new person sitting over here, our new VP of Administrative Services. But welcome. We'll read your bio and all that, blood type and all that kind of stuff, the 25th. At this time, I would like to go ahead and let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now we'll have a prayer. If y'all will please bow with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this beautiful day that we come together to deliberate very important issues around Amarillo College. This college has been here nearing 100 years, Lord, and we want to continue to grow and continue to thrive. So the decisions that we make each and every meeting are very important. We ask your guidance and your direction in everything that we do. Thank you so much for the staff and the faculty and the administration, and most of all for our students who come to us looking to grow and to better themselves and to make a wonderful life for themselves. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Public comments. Are there any cards turned in? No. Well, I'm going to read all this stuff then. So no public comments at this time. The bulk of our meeting is to item number 6, to consider the tax rate for 2026. In accordance with the provisions of Section 26.06 of the Texas Tax Code, Amarillo College will publish a legal notice on August 17th stating that the no new tax rate revenue for the Amarillo Junior College District is, and this says 0.21717 cents per 100 assessed value. The voter approval tax rate for the Amarillo College district for 2026 published in the legal notice is 0.24671 per 100 of assessed value. And that's what we're here to talk about tonight. And I want to have Dr. Connor lead us through an explanation of the proposed tax rate, how it will affect the college, how it will affect citizens. And so I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So this is my first year really getting into this and also presenting. And so I'm sure all of you, because you've had much more history than I have in this, the definitions and what we're talking about, we've got the no new revenue tax rate, right, which is what would generate the exact same amount of total property tax revenue as a previous year using the same properties that were on the tax roll in both years. So it's not an apples to apples if you're just looking at this year, which I'll explain. The voter approval rate is the maximum property tax rate that we can adopt without requiring voter approval through an election. And then you all know about what would trigger the voter approval tax rate election, which is what we looked at. And so then this just shows, what's triggering the tax hearing is if the proposed tax rate is higher than the no new tax rate. And then what would happen then if we had a rollback election, which we are keeping it below that, and a total rollback rate, which is not anything that we're proposing. So we've had interesting things happen with the valuation, so the tax base that our rates calculated on this year. So if you look at our certified values, all of our property, the certified values have gone up by $50 million year over year. We have about half the amount of properties under protest than we had last year. So that's also on the positive side of increased values. However, the properties that have the tax ceiling, so those exemptions for over 65 and the disabilities have grown exponentially, which has resulted in a decrease of $208 million right now. So that means our net values from last year are decreasing $149,000, which means that we would be $149 million. Sorry, $149 million. So, and So we used from this was the worksheet that we used and we filled out. We calculated the rates I'm going to walk you through. And then we had Randall County Tax Assessor certify these rates. So it's an interesting year in that our base is going down, that we calculate whatever our rates are for.
And not due to property values.
Well, it's due to the fact that we have so many more properties now that are hitting that tax.
The exemption.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I've got to say exactly why I voted against that. I don't, not the only one that would pay what I would had that not passed. Actually, in other words, I'm not doing that. I'm paying what they tell me to pay, but we all knew this was gonna happen.
It shifted a massive amount to all the people understand.
And it's just gonna get
Worse
bigger
every
and
all the
bigger and
time.
bigger.
Yeah. Our president at the time called it a tax transfer.
Mm.
It just, like you shifted it to a different demographic. And there are plenty of seniors who can pay it and they're not, you're getting your tax bill and you just pay your tax bill.
Does anyone recall when the city vote was?
Oh, it's a constitutional amendment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought we have a frozen tax system in Amarillo also that was voted on.
You could be right.
We did, we have a frozen
For
system.
sure we did, because we had. I remember having gentlemen up here talking in favor of it.
And there are more exemptions than just
Mhm.
age,
65,
disability. I
right.
mean, there's a whole list of, they're just chipping away taxes.
Yeah.
And growing the exemption,
More.
So this is what we're proposing for the tax rates, and it's got the history on there. So the M&O tax rate, we can increase by up to 8% each year, not more than 20% total. And then the INS rate is the rate that we need to have to cover our bond debt payments each year. That's going to be 11.5 million this year. That's been pretty standard the last few years. For the next 4 years, we're looking at about 11.5 million a year that we're paying back. So need to make sure that we covered that. So that's how that rate is calculated. And so when you add those two together, that comes up with the 0.24670. What would trigger that election, and that is a 0.24671. So we took it down some from that. The other part that's playing into the scenario that we're seeing is when you look at the average home, if you're looking down at 2023, 2024, and even 2025, those are some big jumps in the average cost, right? That 207 to 219 to 226. Between 2025 and 2026, it's not even $2,000. So now that's steadied out. We're not seeing that growth in the average home right now. And so that 1,000 valuation is actually, per $100,000, what the tax rate would be for that. So obviously that's looking at an overall increase when you compare it to the no new tax rate of 13.59%. Now, what's important for you to understand for that is that right now, what the proposed budget that I brought to you all in July had a $35 million tax revenue line. Since then, because that was based on about the middle of July, we brought in another million. So for this year, we're bringing in 36 million as it relates to all respective tax revenues. With this new rate, even at the 13.59 increase that it's showing, we'll be back at what I brought to you all at the 35 million. So we lost $1 million in revenue with the budget that I brought to you that incorporates and includes this increase. So if we decide to do something different than that, then that's on top of the $1 million that we already had to find expense decreases on that I brought you in July. We would have to take and make more expense adjustments if we don't decide to move forward with this tax rate. And then, so we're here today to talk about that with the plan that the next hearing, as Jay mentioned, would be at our regular board meeting on August 25th. So that's where we're sitting right now.
You have a motion that I'll go ahead with, and then we can discuss it. Seconded. I move that the proposed tax rate of $0.24670 be approved for tax year 2026. This will effectively be a 13.59% increase in the tax rate. The purpose of this additional revenue generated by the proposed debt rate is to improve/maintain the district's financial stability, support ongoing operations, address increasing operational costs, and continue providing quality educational programs and services to students and the community.
Okay, motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, David. All right, any discussion?
What does this mean to the average? It's usually an amount like that.
That's what's right up there on the screen, that's that $100,000 valuation. So it would be the tax rate total with the M&O and the INS would be 246.70. And you can see the 2025 number for that same $100,000 was 219.94. You go a couple lines down.
So per $1,000 valuation. Per
100,000.
per 100, I'm
Yes.
sorry, I was reading the
I
wrong
know,
line.
it's-
I was
it's
reading the
good.
wrong line, yeah.
$30 per.
100,000.
Do you know what other taxing agents are, have y'all talked locally about what other tax authorities are doing? Taxing. agencies?
A lot of them are actually, like, we're farther along in that I brought the proposed budget.
Mhm.
So a lot of them are in the middle of it and they're really struggling with how this is going to impact their budgets for the coming
Mhm.
year.
Trying not to go over the 80%.
And seeing with the valuations, yeah, what does that mean and what do they do as far as the taxes that they're charging?
Need more young homeowners.
I can afford it.
I know.
Would this have been necessary if the state wouldn't have backed off their assessed dollars that they were paying?
Well, the INS rate, we need to have the INS rate set to cover our bond debt. So you can see that that's a reflection of the calculations with our value different.
But mainly the.
So with the M&O, I mean, we have kind of a triple situation we're dealing with, right? We lost state appropriations. We've got this, the tax revenue based on the rates. And then we also have the moratorium on tuition and fees, which even though we incorporated enrollment growth, that doesn't incorporate any tuition and fees. So we've had several things this year to balance our budget that we've struggled with.
Lots of ceilings on what we can do. Well, I appreciate the slides. I think I like the definitions. I don't think we usually get the definitions.
Yeah, I
And
did.
so I like that because
did
that's
too.
kind of my language there and this was very helpful. So I know this might be the first time you're doing this presentation, but excellent.
So if we were to approve something less, you would have to adjust the budget. You'd have to
Right.
totally rework the
So we
budget.
would go back based on what adjustments that you would like, how much you would like to adjust it, and we would calculate what that would mean for lower revenue.
Mhm.
And then we would need to, by the time I bring you the budget on August 25th, we would need to find some other decreases in our expense budget for the coming year.
Did you get a second on this?
Yes, David.
No, I just,
I didn't wrap this up.
So any other questions or comments? I mean, I've written it down. It's $26.86 per 100,000 evaluation. That's what this would be.
That would be just exceed that.
Yes. You
Correct.
mean the.
Yes, this is
The
just
difference
that.
between last year and this year.
It's pretty small.
It is smaller.
Yeah. So anything else? Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed with no? Okay. And our,
There was something I was gonna have. Maybe a little late, I was getting ready to ask and,
Let's hear it.
um. Can we? Can we say that we cut anything? And I'm sorry, I don't, didn't memorize the budget. Can we say that we cut anything for, when people are saying you raise taxes and it's tough right now and that, so that we cut anything? So that we could,
we have had to reduce things based upon already the state appropriations. Would that be accurate?
We had several, we had, with what I walked through, I'm trying to think of now. We looked to keep the modified budget, us flat to the modified budget.
Yeah.
And then it needed to work because in addition to all the things that we talked about with the revenue challenges, I've also included $5 million to take the bottom line. So that's $5 million in the budget that we couldn't put towards expenses. That we want to try to build back our fund balance on and still try to have some things in the budget that keep us the momentum going with the enrollment growth we've been seeing and the opportunities that we have. So when you think about for the majority of everything, keeping things flat, I think where we had a few increases were related to full-time faculty and some adjuncts, which we needed because of the enrollment growth we were seeing and how great Badger Bound's been doing with dual credit, those types of things. But otherwise, when you think of how much other costs have been increasing, we've really worked to try to keep it at least flat, if not take some other decreases to have that balanced budget that I brought in July.
So kind of in the middle of a vote here.
it's. Page one, it's. Page one. And if I wasn't torn as much, I would, but I see what we're looking at, that I just really have a hard time raising the taxes. I'm gonna have to-
Okay. All right. So we have 2 no's, Irene and Peggy, and then everyone else voted in the affirmative. And so that motion carries.
And this is not the final vote.
No, this is just to set it.
This is the proposed.
This is a proposed. We'll have tax hearing coming up next meeting. We'll have then more discussion. And so there was time to consider all these things
And
that
maybe
they were
you
bringing
could
up.
meet with Jamel
Yeah,
and
Go
and
over
go
it.
over some things and, get more comfortable or not, but maybe you can meet
I
and.
want to be honest about it. I mean,
Sure.
Absolutely. We don't want you to be otherwise. Yeah, for sure. You're welcome. All right. So thank you for that. We'll move on then to item number 7, setting the date to adopt the tax rate for 2026 and schedule a public hearing regarding the tax rate for 2026. Does anyone have a motion? Okay. I knew there was a movement here.
We set the date for the public hearing and adoption of the proposed tax rate for August 25th, 2026 at 6 p.m. on the Washington Street campus, College Union Building, 2nd floor, Palo Duro Room.
And that's our next regularly scheduled meeting, correct? Is that right?
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
So
25th.
to me, it makes sense to put those things together. So. All right, we got a motion and do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, Michelle, and then any discussion on the timing, the date and the time? All right, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed with no? All right, that motion carries. Now we move into item 8, college safety and services. This item is on the agenda in order for the Regents to receive updates on collaboration between Amarillo College and the City of Amarillo Police Department and on related campus services. A representative from the City of Amarillo OEM will be in attendance, and I'm going to let Chief Brown take it away and introduce our guest from the City of Amarillo.
Joining us today with the best of Jamie Hicks. He is the Assistant Director of Emergency Communications. And also we have Matt Stone, who is the director of management. We're fortunate enough to work with Matt since 2018. And we are really excited to talk today about our collaboration.
Awesome. Welcome.
Afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to take this time. As Chief said, we've worked together for a number of years. I was ecstatic when we had the chance to partner with the college. The city itself is a neighbor first. I can imagine no better partnership than with a college that shares its namesake. So I'm very excited to be exactly that, a partner. My teams are here to serve you. We're here to help to ensure that if anything should happen on campus, there will be a seamless transition to ensure that no faculty or students or here on campus feel anything on that back end during that transition. And we are here to help as the happy neighbors we are. Some of you have met me before, and I'm ecstatic to be back here standing in front of you again today. But with that, I will take any questions or even concerns that you might have.
I think Mark's.
I'd like to first kind of announce this collaboration, I think. And this won't take long. There's no decision or action or vote on this. This is just an announcement tonight, but is on the agenda so that we can announce this collaboration concerning emergency communications and public safety dispatch services. Due to staffing shortages that have been experienced by every law enforcement agency in the Texas Panhandle, the college has entered into an interlocal agreement with the Office of Emergency Management, which designates the Amarillo Emergency Communications Center as the primary dispatch point for all emergency calls originating from the Amarillo College campuses in Amarillo. This dispatch agreement is temporary in nature so as to allow both parties the opportunity to really evaluate each other's capabilities and processes going forward. What we do know is that the call volume from Amarillo College campuses is fairly low. And we also know that the Amarillo Police Department has the benefit of advanced training and advanced technologies that our police department could never match. I felt it was imperative to have this agreement in place before the start of the school year, when the number of faculty and students on campus will be, greatly increased. Now, this will require some slight changes to our processes, and those changes will be communicated to the college family first thing in the morning and regularly communicated over the coming days and weeks. These changes are as follows. Call 911 if you encounter a situation requiring immediate law enforcement, fire, or medical response, or if you believe someone's life, health, and safety is at risk, you call 911, just like you would call from your home or any place else in town. For situations that require a police response or that may require a police response, but that are not emergencies, you should call the Amarillo Police Department non-emergency line. That's 378-3038. Not hard. We will train on that a lot. And recall that if you call 911, they ask you what your emergency is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't articulate your emergency, they'll direct you to 378-3038. So it works pretty well. All right. The last thing is that I know we are very concerned to address. Amarillo College has always provided a lot of courteous campus support for assistance on things such as lost and found, safety escorts, vehicle assists, to name a few. For those services, persons should call Ask AC. That number is 371-5000, well known. This works quite well because Ask AC is already a large, robust, established call center. We get a lot of calls through Ask AC. They are not emergency calls. They're not police calls, but they have a high volume of calls and people are used to calling them. Ask AC will direct those calls to the Amarillo College Police Department, who will respond to those calls during the same hours that Ask AC is operating. So we've got a pretty easy, intuitive system here. There will be a lot more communication and training about this and also exploring new things in the next days and weeks. But I just wanted you to know about what we are doing at this time before the start of school. I do want to thank Chief Brown for facilitating this relationship with the folks at the City of Amarillo. That's been very helpful. So I just wanted to make that announcement. We will have an all college email going out first thing in the morning. This is a pretty important topic, so that's what we've done on that.
Any questions for Max?
So who is on the Amarillo College Police?
We
How many?
we have four police officers
Four.
at the Amarillo College Police Department at this time.
And I think this summer, what we have been averaging about 2.5 calls a day.
Calls for service, not emergencies, just calls for service this summer, 2.5 calls a day. And most of those are not.
371,500 number.
Yes.
So we're that 371,500 will work very well for this. Because people already call that number for a variety of things, more than just enrollment. Okay. People call that number for a variety of things already.
Another question. For APD, how short are they on?
Any
Oh,
idea?
I can't answer.
If we have a
I
shortage,
couldn't answer that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't have a number off the top of my head.
would, maybe following up on that, would this put any undue burden on APD?
So our officers are running beats in the area anyways.
Yeah.
We've always partnered with ACPD. So it will, if a call for service comes in, we respond.
Anyway,
Regardless.
y'all have done
We
that.
would come to back up PD anyways.
Yeah.
Especially if it was after hours, anything
Sure.
like that. So I don't know if undue stress or anything like that's the right phrase. It is what we do. Yes, sir.
And we've talked to Chief Over about this
Right.
arrangement as well. And they're very, very excited actually to be part of us. There's Amarillo police officers in our neighborhood as we speak.
Yeah.
And I see in the long term, maybe even having a muster station or a satellite station here for Amarillo College Police, for Amarillo City Police here at the campus. So there's some other enhancements we can make as well.
So we're looking at a great savings in.
It remains to be seen how much money we will save. I'm sure we will save some. That's not the purpose, but I'm sure we'll save some. But we need to redirect some resources as well. I think some of the money can be redirected to hardening our campus with maybe some more security cameras and locking mechanisms and stuff. So that's all up for exploration in the next month or two.
Bottom line is we want this campus to be as safe as possible. And I, for one, feel good about APD being here anyway, overlaying what we already have and coming to within 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes max, right? Pretty much on calls.
Within a matter of minutes.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. And so then if some event were to happen, we would have full coverage. And then communications is complete. We don't have any lapse of communication or breakdowns or anything like that. That makes me feel good about this, the campus being safe, our students coming back. I think it's just a matter of explaining it to everyone so that nobody calls 5,000 for there's a gunman loose or whatever. So, and that's going to happen with training, I would imagine. Yeah.
We have the other agreement for the emergency services, right? That we just
Fire.
did a
We also-
month or two ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have everything in place. The difference between our previous memorandum of understanding for services and this agreement is this focuses on dispatch. They will be the primary dispatch, which is very important to me. Very workable.
That's through the Sims building? You'll have
Yes,
that
so
down there?
our emergency dispatch center is on the main floor of the Sims building, just catty corner from the ball
You'll
field.
have a lot of dispatchers.
So we have a team of 64 in total.
Wow.
So yes.
That's amazing.
So my fashion forward colleague here has already outlined exactly our staffing to ensure that, like I said, this is it's a painless transition, and we will move forward and serve to the best.
It's amazing. Things have changed since about 1985 when I finished being a dispatcher at Randall County, when I was the only one on duty for the whole county. I mean, that was like crazy how much. I go down there now and there's 20 people at any given time, you know, so, well, any other comments or questions?
Safety,
Yep,
the safety protocol
Huh?
for active shooters
sure.
and aren't, y'all were working on that.
Yes, there's an active threat training, a week or two from now, which will be tested. I think it's going to be tested in this building, and then it's going to be rolled out to the whole college. So Chief Brown is very much cognizant that we've got to even do more training than we are already doing.
Will there be,
Yeah.
because that's our biggest concern is the students and how, and faculty and staff.
Yeah.
Well, in that situation.
Don't forget, Joe.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
No.
And
But, is there, does it add, a layer of communication that would have a chance of getting used or?
Actually, I think this simplifies things because when we have a situation on campus, you never want there to be any confusion about who is in command. And this way, there will not be any question about who is in command, how to hand off the command, when to hand off the command. So I think this is actually simplifies the situation.
And we've talked about getting every single staff member, admin, everybody trained and signed off on, I have received training. I know what to do. I know how to protect my class if this were to happen, that sort of thing.
And part of that training is going to include some protocols or things that we've already kind of adopted that they are using that what's the I love you guys terminology.
From Amarillo.
So the students coming out of Amarillo Independent School District already understand the terminology that we will be using.
Yeah.
So that's going to be
I
helpful.
think more than AISD, I think that's across the panhandle. Yeah. And all comes out of Texas State, I believe.
So the I love you guys was actually based on the last 3 words a victim said during an active shooter event.
Okay.
Yes, AISD implements it. So it's the reunification program.
Yeah.
For pretty much it's the standard for all local ISDs. I serve on a lot of those. I serve on all of them, technically, all the safety and security committees. But the one out of AISD, actually, the individual who rolled that out actually also works for us now.
Oh,
So
there it goes.
And Chief Brown is on the Texas School Safety Council
That's
and
the one I'm thinking.
attends meetings periodically about these things and also helps teach these things to the other schools. So
Excellent. Well, do we feel informed? So there's nothing to vote on. We just want any other questions? We want to make sure everybody has all the information you need right now. And there may be more things coming, you know, in the next couple of weeks or month or so as Chief Brown continues to examine our safety here on campus. We'll see some things happen perhaps. So thank you very much, Max. And Jamie, was it? Thank you so much. We appreciate the bow tie as well. All right. I will adhere a motion for agenda item number 9. Move to adjourn. Second. Irene, come on. Okay. Okay. Annette, motion. Anybody against that? All right. It carries. Thank you. All right. I will adhere a motion for agenda item number 9. Move to adjourn. Second. Irene, come on. Okay. Okay. Annette, motion. Any